Hey, you guys. I'm sorry I didn't give you any warning that I didn't go ahead and do this, but I wanted to go ahead and talk about my time in Quiverfull. There are some things that came up today that reminded me of why I need to explain what my background was and why I was writing about it for 10 different years. You see what I'm wearing today? It's a giant, you can't see it, it is a giant stack of fabric. This is actually a dress that I made during my time in Quiverfull. I used to wear it with a t-shirt underneath it. I don't think I wore it much if I remember, but I ended up with it here somehow. The material was just too nice to ever think about throwing away. It's really thick. It's cotton. It's perfect for here because it doesn't touch your body anywhere. So I decided to start wearing it again. But I wanted to show it to all of you guys. To give you kind of an idea, because this thing doesn't really touch the body anywhere. It's extremely loose. Nobody knows you got boobs or butt unless you're pulling it tight. It's the kind of dresses that a lot of us wore then. I have to wear next time my one jumper. I ended up with one of the jumpers here. I think I put it away in one of the in my chest of clothes, but I'll have to look. This though I'm keeping, and I'm wearing it here because it's perfect for tropical weather. Okay, I wanted to talk a little bit about this. Why? Well, I heard someone the other day saying that to blanket train a child meant to put them on the blanket and use a pipe on them to beat them when they came off. That's not it at all. The pipe that this person was referring to is not really a pipe. It's a 1/4 inch thick plumbing line, a plastic plumbing line. That is what Michael Pearl recommends in to his book, his seminal work, To Train Up a Child. It's what he recommends on his website. It's what he's recommended all along. It's not a pipe. It's a plastic plumbing line. There's a big difference between hey, Granny and Aaron. There's a big difference between a piece of plastic pipe. There's a big difference. It's going to hurt and leave bruises no matter which one you use, but there's a big difference between using that plumbing line, the plastic plumbing line, or using the iron pipe. So don't listen to anything this person has to say. They haven't lived this. I lived Quiverfull for over 15 years. I've been out for over 15 years. I joined when I was in my late 20s, early 30s, that time frame. I talked about this before. I joined when my daughter, my youngest, my little baby, who was 4 at the time, had ITP, and we just about lost her. And we came very close to losing her. They told us at first they thought she might have had leukemia. So it was like a lot of really scary things going on. They treated her for ITP, and the treatment was pretty insane. One of the things they did was they gave her packed platelets and gamma globulin, which are blood products. She picked up, I'm having a brain fart. She picked up meningitis from the blood product and damn near died again. So we went through a lot right then. We had a friend who we vaguely knew, we'd known for a little while, that he was a friend of my husband's. He'd worked with him when my husband had taken a second job at Domino's Pizza so I could stay home with the kids. We met him then, but we didn't really know him well until my baby got sick. When my baby got sick, everything changed. He and his buddies, his good Christian friends from our Quiverfull church, love bombed me hard when Laura was very ill. And I got to tell you, that impressed me. The people would come alongside me and pray and just be super helpful while I'm dealing with a child that is almost at death's door, a child with all kinds of issues. I mean, they were doing CT scans to make sure she hadn't hit her head and done something horrible. It was a very fearful time for us. It was months on end of having her blood drawn and living and dying by those numbers, going back and forth, getting gamma globulin treatments, getting meningitis, being hospitalized, in and out of the hospital, you name it. It was a very bad time. And I feel for anybody, even her, who has a child that, even her, who has a child that has a chronic illness, because that is not an easy thing. At one point, they put in a feeding tube for her because she wasn't eating. But I tried to explain she wasn't eating because the hospital food bringing other food in, and she started 3 feet deep. It's like the most shallow lake. It's so